So as we continue on in our journey through early Christian Christology and how it all develops through the centuries and through the conversations and through the creeds, we have affirmed that Jesus is fully divine, and we have affirmed that Jesus is fully human, and whatever God is, Jesus is that. Whatever a human being is, Jesus is also that. So he is one person with two natures. So as we consider the development of that thought, we then have to wrestle with the teaching of a fellow named Nestorius. Now, Nestorius was again a solid churchman who put his mind and his heart into his work. However, he had a certain stream of theology which proved problematic to the rest of the church. So what Nestorius believed, he affirmed that Jesus was fully divine. He affirmed that Jesus was fully human, that Jesus had two natures, a divine nature and a human nature. However, when he articulated this, when he developed his theology, he made it so that these natures were absolutely separate. So that within the body of Jesus, there were these two fully functioning, separate natures, the divine nature and the human nature. Now, in a way you could say, well, isn't that something of the truth? Well, yeah, there's something of the truth there. However, he pushes it to such a degree that it becomes really problematic, and here's why. In the theology of Nestorius, if you were to say to Jesus, if you were to ask Jesus, hey, Jesus, where are you traveling to today? Jesus would not answer, I am traveling to Jerusalem. He would have to, according to Nestorius' theology, probably answer, we are traveling to Jerusalem. The we being the human I and the divine I. So within Jesus, it's like there's not just two natures, it's almost like there's two persons, a divine person and a human person. And so Nestorius pushes his theology so far to basically personify the natures, which is problematic, obviously. And so in his teaching, it would come across as being that Jesus in one moment is speaking as the human I. So if he's saying, I'm thirsty, or where have you laid the body of Lazarus? That's obviously the human I speaking, the human nature, the human persona of Jesus speaking. But in the next minute, when Jesus says, Lazarus, arise, come out of the tomb, that's obviously the divine Jesus, the divine nature, the persona of the divine one speaking. And so all the way through the ministry of Jesus, some things are the divine Jesus, some things are the human Jesus, and you really have to pick and choose all the way through, because there's these two things going on at the same time, that there's two natures. So he pushes it really way too far. The other problem with it is that natures in themselves don't seem to do things. People do things, persons do things in human history. And so Jesus is not a nature, Jesus is a person with two natures. And so even the details of his theology really start to collapse when you explore it too far. So the circumstance was that the rest of the church leaders were really getting unsettled with Nestorius' teaching. They had another great council called the Council of Chalcedon in 451, where the extraordinary thinkers of the day got together to settle this. The main speaker for what you would call the orthodox Christian position was Cyril of Alexandria, and he was able to articulate really the essence of what it is that the church believes about the two natures, one personhood of Jesus. So I want to read this so that there is clarity as a little excerpt from the Creed, the Chalcedonian Creed. Now the actual Chalcedonian Creed is fairly long and complex, but let me give you the key sentence that applies to this consideration. It says, the Christ, the Son, our Lord, the only begotten, made known in two natures, but without confusion, without change, without division, without separation. The difference of the natures being by no means removed because of the union. So it gets a bit technical, but what it's really saying to us is that yes, Jesus has two natures, but those two natures are in union with each other. There's an interconnectedness there. There's a compatibility there. They are ontologically joined in the body of Jesus as the person of Jesus. So it's not that Jesus' body is like this container with two different forces or psyches that are going on inside. No, Jesus is a fully human being who is also God the Son, the Logos, the second person of the Trinity, embodied in human flesh. So the trick of Christology and theology is that it's to know when to stop, right? So you can go so far in explaining and describing and trying to articulate these truths, but then you get to a point where you reach the threshold. It's like you reach the edge of the bright light, and you have to be honest and say, if we try and detail any more of this, if we try and describe any more of this dogmatically, we'll be making things up. We'll be over-speaking about God. And so I think what the Council of Chalcedon teaches us is they did a brilliant job about speaking in detail and profoundly about God, but without over-speaking. And they give us plenty to work with, and I think it is within the bounds of our orthodox Christian thinking to be able to say yes and amen and affirm what it is that they teach and instruct us in. So in our lives today, we are privileged to build upon the brilliant Christian work that has been done centuries ago by the bishops and their communities to bring about the great creeds that we can build our faith and build our church communities on, as they articulate for us with clarity and precision the beauty of the life of God made known to us in Jesus Christ. So we'll continue to consider these things next time, and then we're going to move on to something new for Advent. So till then, see you soon. Peace.